Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth, Auxly traders and investors. It's Rod with Pow Group, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, news, and interviews. It is Thursday, August 14th, and earnings season continues. Auxly reported this morning Q2 2025 earnings. We're going to review them. They were fantastic. Going to try to have Hugo Alves on the show as well again for a second interview. I interviewed him in the past and got a lot of really great feedback, and people really loved it. So I'm going to have him on. I was already speaking with him. Hopefully we can line that up potentially next week, but we're going to review these earnings. There's also a massive bull flag on the chart, so we'll take a look at the technicals and the price action, what to expect there in the days, weeks, months ahead. But spoiler alert, we could be seeing 25 cents in the cards as a result of this bullish continuation pattern. Again, we'll jump into that at the end, but as always, not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. In full disclosure, I do own Auxly in my portfolio. Before we get started, make sure to smash the like, and if you're new, you can subscribe. Take the bell, you'll be notified on any future content, and you can follow us over on X, formerly Twitter. Handle for that is @GroupPow. Going to be using that as my platform of choice going forward. So it's been an exciting time to be an Auxly shareholder. You got all the value investors finally starting to come in now. They're starting to see the numbers. Obviously, if you're in a high growth sector, you can't always, the proof isn't always in the pudding. You can't always see where a company is heading just by looking at the numbers. Value investing, you can look at it from a fundamental and a value investment, kind of principle and point of view. Yes, there's value in that, but that's not the only way to value a company. And if you took a look under the hood at Auxly when it had its going concern, it had quite a bit of debt. It had low cash reserves. That's why they had the going concern there in the first place. But with Imperial Brands coming in, showing that vote of confidence, converting the debt into equity, this had all the markings of a massive success story and turnaround, a company turnaround, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. They're number one. They've got some of the best brands in Canada, the best products. They're a leader, and they're not even at full capacity yet. Just wait until they start turning on different areas of their facilities and start to really meet demand. And Auxly is one of those names that flew under the radar for so long. We didn't even have any analyst estimates. That's how, how not on the radar it is for a lot of these analysts, and a lot of people didn't even have it on the earnings list. So just wait. There's still a ton of people that don't know that Auxly is an absolute diamond in the rough. So you can see here they reported their second quarter 2025 results, and that was for the period ending June 30th, 2025. So obviously they had 420 sales on there, but we'll go through the financial highlights. Net revenues of $38.8 million, an increase of 33% year over year. Look at this gross margin. Finished on MJ inventory sold at 52% compared to 41% in Q2 2024. That's the moneymaker right there. And a lot of their products, right, especially the vapes, the all-in-ones, we're starting to really turn a page here, especially on a lot of these Canadian companies where, we're over a lot of the initial hurdles and growing pains, and we're really starting to see what these LPs can do. And again, we have to think, like, if big alcohol, tobacco, and pharma is entering the space, and they're picking LPs, right? And look at Imperial Brands picking Auxly. There has to be something here. Like, what do these billion-dollar corporations know? And in my opinion, you're finally starting to see what they saw and what I saw when the stock was at a penny, 2 pennies. It's something to relish just looking at my Auxly position and knowing that I got a ton of buys at around a penny. And here we are at 18 cents and could be heading a lot higher. But their SG&A, sales general and administrative, was $10.3 million, an increase of 11% year over year. They had an adjusted EBITDA of $11.6 million, or 30% of net revenue, an increase of 123% year over year. And they had net income, positive income of $8.3 million, an increase of 315% year over year, folks. That is awesome. They had cash flow from operations of $4 million, and cash at the quarter end totaled $17 million. So still very low on cash, but again, you're starting to see some improvements with regards to the balance sheet, specifically with regards to their senior debt and Imperial Brands. They talk about how they amended their senior debt, extended maturity to add $10 million in new credit. Imperial Brands converted remaining debt into equity, reinforcing long-term support. They also go over some pro forma numbers. So total debt to TTM, adjusted EBITDA of 1.4x, and pro forma net working capital at June 30th, 2025 of $35 million. They had number 3 largest Canadian licensed producer with market share of 6.2% at quarter end, and Back 40 exited the quarter as the number 1 MJ brand in Canada. So again, folks, this isn't just a fly-by-night company. This is a company with leading portfolio SKUs and brands in Canada and market share. Their Liquid Imagination and Fire Breath 28 gram format were the top 2 best-selling SKUs nationwide, and they were the leader in the all-in-one vape category, holding 12 of the top 15 SKUs nationally. And I think whenever I spoke to the company, I think they said that they sold like over 3 or 4 million units of that new all-in-one vape. So like I said, folks, this is you really have to just look beyond the numbers, because yes, there's merit in looking at different value investing principles, but you have to remember that that's like a Warren Buffett mentality. Warren Buffett missed Apple, he missed Amazon, he missed a lot of these companies, and later on got into them because then the fundamentals, the value investing principles started to make sense. He didn't understand the company, didn't understand the technology, didn't understand the growth curve, where we are versus where we're going, and that's what you need to understand when you're in a high growth sector, specifically in MJ. We're not even we're still in the pregame warm up, folks. Like, if this is a 9-inning game, we're still in the pregame warm-ups. We haven't even started the first inning. That means that like 95% of this sector's growth is still yet ahead of us. So if 95% of the growth is still not here, why are we putting so much emphasis on the numbers today? You have to look at the prospects. You have to look at the future growth and where we're heading versus where we are, and understand that this company, top products, top brand, top market share, an improved balance sheet, right? All of these things you wouldn't know just by looking at the numbers. Not to discredit that. There's definitely, we want profitable versus unprofitable. We want high margins. We want free cash flow. We want, multiple consecutive quarters of positive adjusted EBITDA, and we want net income positive from operations, right? We want all of this. But, trading into the black, as it were. But essentially, by the time a company runs, by the time you start to see this value investing principle start to be justified, the company's probably already done a 10x or a 20x. In Auxly's case, you got all the value investors screaming from the rooftop saying it's amazing now. But again, we went from 1 penny to 18 cents, right? So that's the trade-off. Either you get in when it's cheap, or you wait until the price skyrockets and then the value invest. Either one's not right or wrong. It's just which one fits your needs the most, and your wants, and your strategies. And in my opinion, I'm here looking to find these companies before the masses. They were the leader, like I said, in all-in-one vape category, and they maintained the #1 non-infused pre-roll brand in Ontario. So we'll scroll down. Actually, I want to bring up their excise taxes. So that's another thing too. They had 20.322 million in excise tax, top line of 59.124 million, with a net of 38.8 million. So again, just imagine if we get excise tax reform, if we got an improvement in the way that the excise stamps are done, if we get one national stamp, that's going to cut down on costs and time and burden for the companies. But if we get excise tax reform, just imagine that's going to completely transform these companies overnight. And I think it's going to happen around the same time as we get rescheduling in the US, because that would remove 280E. And again, they're going to want to create this level playing field. And a lot of these big corporations that are in the US and billion-dollar corporations, the big pharmas, alcohols, tobaccos of the world, they're investing in Canadian companies. So they're going to lobby the Canadian government, I think, if we do see rescheduling in the US, because if they know 280Es on the horizon or rescheduling and 280E is going to get removed, that's going to remove a lot of the high taxation and biggest barrier in the US and biggest issue in the US. And then they're going to want to do something similar in Canada and improve that. So again, I think it's going to come roughly around the same time. But yeah, those margins and overall growth that we've seen year over year, just in the last year, this has been a crazy turnaround story here for Auxly. But if we look at the chart, I mentioned the last time that I charted this, I didn't even have to chart this today because I already had it on here. And as you can see, we had our low, we had our high, higher low, and higher high on the weekly time frame, which gave us the weekly bull flag. So as long as we held 6 cents, which we hit 6.5, it was a complete textbook weekly bull flag. And then once we broke the high at 10.5 cents there, that confirmed it. That gives us our measured move of 25 cents. And today we hit 18.5 cents. In terms of percentage away, we are only about 39% away from that weekly bull flag target. And when I mentioned the weekly bull flag target of 25 cents, everybody thought I was crazy. But again, show me the chart, I'll tell you the news. And again, that's why we have to combine technicals with fundamentals, not just value investing, but also growth strategies and understanding the company and where it's at in its growth curve, and then not only that, the whole entire sector. So this has been a great turnaround, but again, we're not stopping here. This had no business being down at a penny, 2 pennies. In my opinion, At 25 cents is just the beginning. We're going to be back up to 50 cents and then $1 eventually. And I actually did a video on my exit plan for Auxly. If you haven't seen that, you can check it out. We also confirmed the monthly uptrend after being in that monthly equilibrium. We had our low, high, higher low, lower high, actually triple bottom, triple top. Then we broke, got the first ever monthly EMA 12 and 26 bull cross while confirming the monthly uptrend simultaneously. We went from monthly oversold and we're now monthly overbought. That's how quickly things can change, folks. So again, if you're looking for an entry on Auxly, it's hard for me to say that now because I was buying a lot around a penny or 2 pennies, but maybe you want to wait for a monthly higher low somewhere around, maybe even a back test of 10 cents, 12 cents for a monthly higher low at this point. But yeah, we had tons of POW algo alerts that were going off as well, buy alerts on Auxly. We had tons of buy alerts on the POW algo service going off, early buy and sell signals directly to your email and in the POW group private community, or both, depending on how you have it set up. And like I said, we had multiple buy alerts go off on Auxly, and now we're finally starting to see the price move up. And we just had the 50 and the 200 weekly moving average bull cross as well. On the daily time when that happens, we had a golden cross back here on the week of February 3rd. So when the 50 crosses the 200 below the 200 and it crosses, that's called a golden cross on the daily. When it happens on the weekly, that's even more bullish. And we actually get notifications on the POW algo service as well. I called this a platinum bull cross when the 50 and the 200 weekly moving average cross bullish. And as you can see, we're down around 6 cents, and now the price is closer to 20 cents. And we're probably not done here, folks. So again, could see 25 cents here in a hurry. And with rescheduling looming in the U.S., I know a lot of people are saying, well, it doesn't impact Canadian operators. It's only going to benefit the U.S. names and removal of 280E. Well, it's removing the stigma. It's showing that the shackles are coming off. They're starting to move towards this industry. And it's not just the U.S., it's the rest of the world. You've got international markets and different countries legalizing. So again, it's going to be positive for the whole sector. You're going to have medical in the U.S. There's going to be tons of opportunity. And again, if we see rescheduling in the U.S. and removal of 280E, I think that's going to increase the odds that we see excise tax improvement and reform here in Canada, where they lower that to be more favorable and start supporting the industry and also level the playing field. So let me know your thoughts and opinions on this report. They didn't do a conference call. They said that they're not doing one. They haven't been doing one for a while now. They've just been head down and executing. So we could see that potentially resume, but they said until further notice, expect that to be the case. No more conference calls until further notice, but we may see that resume at some point in 2026 potentially, and that might even be a question for Hugo Alves on my next interview. All right, have a great day. It's Rod with POW Group. Thanks again for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth, and we'll catch you on the next video.